The Chicago Bears just absolutely stole this draft in the fifth round. And I mean, what a steal. So here we are. The Chicago Bears, they now have a legitimate speed rusher off the edge to pair with Montez Sweat. The Bears, they were sorely missing this, and the Bears had an absolutely complete draft here. They grabbed Torrey Taylor at punter in the fourth, and we are all thinking, right? Myself included, what about defensive end? We got to trust Poles more. As per usual, Poles, he had a plan and he grabbed a guy I just profiled last week as the perfect fit for us, Kansas and Austin Booker. And I want to start with a story. You're absolutely going to love this. The Green Bay Packers, right? They just drafted offensive lineman Jordan Morgan in the first round. And historically, the Senior Bowl, it's only for, well, college seniors, right? That changed in 2024 when underclassmen, they are now allowed to go. And even with limited tape on Booker, Booker still got an invite. And in practice, you can find the film. It's definitely worth watching as a Bears fan. Booker absolutely destroyed Morgan, going right through him on back-to-back reps. Then he even followed it up with a beautiful spin move, multiple reps, multiple moves to beat Morgan. That's just a guy with over 500 college snaps, just absolutely owning a first-round pick offensive lineman. And to make matters better, he is now a Green Bay Packer, and I hope these guys match up in the regular season. It's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, and although he isn't ready for an immediate starting role as a rookie, Booker, he has the promising pass rush savvy to be a steal. And when we look back at this selection by even the second half of the season, I would say, much like Gervon Dexter last year, we're going to know that this was an absolute steal. I'm going to give you more reasons here. One reason that this pick is so good, and this is another funny thing, to acquire Booker, the Bears, they traded a 2025 fourth rounder to the Bills to acquire the 144th pick in the draft. There's some irony here. That pick is the exact same one they traded to the Bills in exchange for offensive lineman Ryan Bates earlier this season. It was just before free agency started. So we essentially paid a fourth round pick only for both a key rotational piece in Ryan Bates, and possibly he's also our starter at center, and an absolute beast of a defensive end in Austin Booker. Poles, he plays this game so well. It's so fun. It only costs us a fourth rounder. So why else is this pick better than anyone is even thinking of? I'll answer that. This guy was projected as a third or even a late second round pick. And we got this guy we wanted all along. We got him in the fifth round. There's more to this draft projection as well, and we'll get into that. But Jacob Infante on Twitter, I just really like his work. He's always on point. And he posted this. The Bears trade up into round 5 for Kansas edge Austin Booker. I love this selection. He's raw, but he has legit starting tools. Long, athletic, high motor. Absolutely worth trading up for. And to hear it from Booker himself, let's check out this quote. And for help, I'm going to go to this story on Bears Wire. It's a really good profile. And yeah, check it out. Read it in its entirety. So let's hear from Booker himself. I've got speed. I've got length. I've got strength, and being able to use all that at once is a gift that I have, and I'm going to use it at the next level. That's what he had to say. Let's talk about him. Very athletic at 6'4.5", 240 pounds. Booker played only 6 games in 2 years at Minnesota, but then he hit the transfer portal to Kansas. Once in Kansas, he produced 8 sacks last season with 12 tackles for a loss, and he made 56 total tackles in his only season starting in college football. I'm just going to let his NFL.com draft profile speak as well. And this is what the profile had to say. The diversity of his rushing approach is unheard of for a player with so little playing time. He can stride and dip at the top of the rush or beat tackles back inside with a Euro step or a spin counter. He can stab. He can long arm tackles into the pocket or stay separated from them at the point of attack. His reps against talented Texas left tackle Calvin Banks Jr. That could be a springboard to push this gifted edge defender with monster traits up the draft board toward an exciting NFL career. And I'm going to close this story here. Pretty encouraging, right? It's It's incredibly unusual for a player of his experience to have so many tools already, tools to get to the quarterback. And with this basketball level wingspan, elite dip and flatten technique, it's just a sneaky good pickup. And man, he's young too. Oh, he's 21 years old. That's pointed out by Bears area scout John Seide. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. So, I mean, he's still becoming a man and growing into his body. For us to think that's probably the biggest thing. You talk about a kid who's still 21, going to be 22 in December. He already has all the tools that you look for in pass rushers. So for us, it's just getting him into the system, developing him, allowing him to just continue to grow into this frame, continue to fill out. So if you want to feel encouraged, his pro comp, it's someone many were banging the table for a possibility for a possible trade way before the draft. That guy is Max Crosby. Remember all the mock drafts, all the possible trade scenarios. So many people pointed to wanting Max Crosby. Now I know it's not apples to apples, but it's incredibly encouraging to see a pro comp being one of the best in the league at sacking the quarterback. So let's look at this. And this doesn't come from me. This is scouts' takes. So don't come running at me. This is what they said. They were both mid-rounders who were noticed by having huge final collegiate seasons. Crosby, he was a little heavier, but Booker, he's obviously going to be fixing that quickly in the gym. We're talking about like 15 pounds. Similar long wingspans, tons of upside coming out. But here's another interesting thing. The Bears defensive line coach, Travis Miller, he held the exact same position with the Raiders when Crosby was drafted. So it suffices to say, right, he may have had a considerable influence on the pick of Booker, and he might see a path towards developing him in a similar manner. Plus, if Coach Washington, if he signed off on this with his expertise, I'm absolutely all into. And to further comment on his draft stock, he's so intriguing, but it's partially because he just hasn't put a lot of tape out to watch. He played only 505 snaps in college. That was enough to dominate the first round Green Bay offensive lineman, right? Only 505 snaps in college, and he really saw starter snaps for only this last season. There's a lot of unknowns here. However, most scouts agree. Most scouts agree that he'll likely would have been a first rounder next year with another season to develop. That comes from NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. So if he would have been a first rounder, potentially with another year to develop, man, why not get him into the pro game? Let our defensive coordinator, who is a defensive line genius, Coach Eric Washington, let him sink some teeth into this kid and develop him and get him where he should be and just acclimate him to the pro game right now at 21 years old. It's insane. We got him in the fifth, and this could just be a huge steal. And I don't believe there's a better coaching staff to get him up to speed. That's what I'm saying. And at minimum, he'll immediately be a situational pass rusher on this defense. He will be able to scream off the edge opposite Montez Sweat, and it's going to take him time to develop into an every down player. I essentially think his only year starting, his 8 sacks, they were third best in the Big 12. That's another reason this pick is so sneaky good. His essentially only year starting, his 8 sacks, they were third best in the Big 12. He only had 2 players above him in sack total, but Booker, he absolutely blew their tackle numbers out of the water. He had 40 solo tackles. What does that tell us? Even while having his main focus hitting the quarterback, he was making plays in the running game. He was chasing dudes down, and he has such a high motor. It's known for never taking plays off, that consistent effort, that absolutely shines in his game film. And those are all traits that Coach Flus absolutely loves. And this is going back to the Bears Wire story. Booker may be a 5th-round pick who has limited college tape, but he's not going to let that stop him from becoming a starting defensive end in year 1. This is from the Bears Wire story I'm quoting. His goal is to become a starter sooner rather than later, and he might have a shot at doing it with the Bears. This is a quote directly from Austin. I want to be a first-year starter. That's the goal. And he said this in an interview with the Draft Network. I'm going to bring a bunch of energy. I'm going to bring hard work to the table. I absolutely love chasing after the ball. I was going to keep playing with terrific effort at the next level. You know what? This has to be just music to Coach Eberflus's ears, right? And at the moment, His only real competition at the position is Demarcus Walker, right? The veteran. He played both outside and inside last season with Ngakwe and Rasheem Green, but he ended up becoming a rotational player even after the team acquired Montez Sweat. He's set to be the starter as of now, but don't be surprised if Booker makes a strong push. Don't be surprised if Booker actually pushes for playing time early on in training camp, and we'll just see what happens. The sky might be the limit with this dude. He has big goals with plans to accomplish them. I love confident, almost cocky players. Look at our new offensive lineman, what he's been saying in the media. Supremely confident in his talent. Let's just hope he's teachable. Let's just hope that this coaching staff can coach them up. And if this ends up being another fifth round steal, just like, Braxton Jones, a fifth round steal, he's our starting left tackle from Poles and Company. This could end up being so, so good. And I think this fifth round pick put a cherry on top of the draft Sunday. And I think we absolutely won this draft from all aspects. I don't think anyone drafted better. You guys let me know what you think. If you love this content, please hit the subscribe button, join our positive community, and love each of you. Like and subscribe, bear down, and let's continue to push towards training camp. See ya.